What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to the TV Toycast YouTube channel. Today we are unboxing the new Ringside exclusive 3 Faces of Foley 3-pack Mankind. That's right, just Mankind today. These were all individually packaged in the 3-pack, which I thought was a very interesting idea. In fact, I think they're all still 3 available over on Ringside Collectibles, so check that out if you're in the market for this figure. This was a must-buy for me. This is my Mankind. You know, this is the Mankind I remember from, of course, early parts of 1996. I thought that was just such a fun time, and when he debuted, it was like, wow, who is this guy? And I kind of think, he looks kind of like Cactus Jack, but it was still, there was something about it that was like, oh man, such a great character. And then, of course, that legendary feud with the Undertaker. Oh man, chef's kiss, amazing stuff. 1996 WWF, highly underrated. I think a lot of times we romanticize the Attitude Era, but it was getting good in 96. Like, we still had some goofy stuff, don't get me wrong, but some of these characters that came in, you know, like, not everything was a hit, but there was a lot of good stuff happening in 96. So, of course, like I said, this is a Ringside exclusive, which also includes, because we got Mankind right there, got a couple extra hands, and I believe that's a piece of hair, because he used to rip out his own hair. Very cool likeness for Mick Foley there. Like I said, this is a 3-pack that also comes with Dude Love and Cactus Jack, so if you're a fan of Mick Foley, this is definitely for you. The wrist right here, does anyone remember that? I remember just plain black wrist tape. I do remember that. I always liked that piece over the fingers for the mandible claw, but I just remember plain black wrist tape, so that's a little bit of a unique choice. Maybe there's, yeah, see right there, you know, just wrist tape. That's all it was, and in that other wrist, no wrist tape at all, so classic Foley. Mankind, the second face of Foley, crawled out of the boiler room and into the WWE in 1996. A masked lunatic with a penchant for pain. What a word, penchant for pain. Mankind's path led to iconic hardcore moments and 3 WWE championship reigns. Have a nice day. Perfect. Of course, nice picture of Mankind there. Like I said, he was such a unique character for the time, and he was so totally different than anything the WWF was offering. Getting that was like, whoa. And also, too, the reason I want to bring up Mankind, specifically this look. So, Jack's bone-crunching action. Yeah, not the best line, right? A lot of us have bittersweet memories of that particular line of action figures. But it came at an interesting time because we wanted figures. And so, it was a weird catch-22 because we wanted figures, but those probably weren't what we would have chose. But, well, we still bought them. A lot of us did anyway. And Series 1 and 2 were a little questionable. Like, we got some good characters in there. Of course, that was like the return of Ultimate Warrior to the WWF in 96. He got a couple of figures. Razor Ramon and Diesel had a couple of figures in production before they jumped ship to WCW. But Wave 3 came out, which featured a couple of repaints of Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. But we got 4 new characters. Sid, the British Bulldog, Ahmed Johnson, and Mankind. In Series 3 is when I feel like the line actually started to improve, and I remember very specifically finding those at Walmart and picking up 3 of them, Ahmed, Bulldog, and Mankind, and I was so impressed with the Mankind figure. The face was perfect. He had the scars on the arm, which you can see he's got there too, which I really, really like. The hair was all messed up. Like, everything about that figure was like, wow, these are good now. And that was another thing. A lot of those figures, the legs were a little wonky, and trying to display those, I think, would have been a complete lost cause. Of course, I was more into the playing at that time, but so I don't think that would have worked regardless. But even nowadays, trying to display those, I think, would have been a difficult task, especially those early waves. But there's that. Like I said, I kind of dig that it was a 3-pack and 3 individual figures. Oh, looky here. I didn't realize this folded out. Look at that. You got your own Mankind, like, if I can knock over the camera, do it like a little, I don't want to say a partition, but that's something I can put up for the video there so you guys can check out. Pretty cool. We got his piece of hair right there. What an item that is. If I can focus the camera, and there it is. Couple extra hands, not overdoing it on the accessories, which I enjoy. I think a couple of extra hands is okay, but you know, I think in this case you could have probably included something, maybe the Paul Bearer urn, because he did eventually turn on the Undertaker. Paul Bearer did, and joined up with Mankind, and Mankind had possession of the urn. What a time. The Boiler Room Brawl, SummerSlam 96. I remember the hype on that match was legitimate. I was like, wow, this is going to be the most insane thing ever. Very, very cool. Yeah, it looks like... Does the hair plug in right there? Is that how that works? Well, I don't actually see a plug-in for it. Maybe it just kind of sits in there. Oh, there you go. What do you know? And he can freak out and yank his hair out and hold it in his hand, or drop it on the ground like I just did. Whatever works for you. But no, a very cool figure. Look at the head there. That is fantastic. Possibly one of the best Mankind figures of all time. I'm going to say it right now. Like I said, the wrist gauntlets, I don't know if I like, but they do come off. So, I'll be honest. To me, that works right there. I'm cool with that. I think that's actually how I will display it, because I don't remember these. Maybe he did wear them. Correct me if I'm wrong. I just don't remember that. Put this hand on, because I do know in the picture on the back of the package, as we saw, he didn't have any wrist tape on that arm. So, oh man, classic Mankind. Really, really cool figure. I'm going to scoot this back a little bit so we can get it all in the shot and get the figure in the shot. Man, really cool figure. I think we're at a time now where Mattel has realized there's a lot of competition in the space. And because there's a lot of competition in the space, they need to bring their A game. And, some of these figures could be kind of, no big deal. But this is an amazing Mankind. Like, this could be the best Mankind figure I've ever had. I've always loved the symbol on the back. Look at the tattering of the shirt, too. The detail. You got the lace of the mask. And some of the times these masks are removable. I'll be honest, I think it looks better molded because he didn't take it off in this era. So to me, that looks better. Like I mentioned before, the scar on the arm there. And none on that one, but I think that's all right. The boot detail, very, very cool. Very, very cool figure. Got the dingy brown. And I like how, which again, attention to detail, the shirt and the pants are slightly different colors. They're not exact, and I think that stuff like that's important. You add a whole new element. I'm going to take this out of the way here. You add a whole new element to it, but it is cool. It comes with that. I hope the Cactus and Dude Love also have that, because that's a really, really cool thing. But yeah, like I said, Mankind coming into the WWF in 1996, I think was a huge deal, and I think he made that immediate impact by attacking the Undertaker. It kind of set him up as a player, but also, how can we forget Mind Games? What a match. That match, if you have not seen it, I can't recommend enough. In Your House, Mind Games, I believe it was September of 1996. Mankind versus Shawn Michaels. And Shawn Michaels kind of credits that's the match he needed at that time. He needed a match to kind of show that he was a player, that he was tough, that he was, he should be the champion. And they definitely accomplished that. It was, I think, around 26 minutes, so it was definitely a test for both guys, and I think they both prevailed. And I think, Foley needed that that stamp that say, like, hey, no, I can go. I'm not just a gimmick. I'm not just a character. I can wrestle. I can have a legitimate match. I'm not just a stunt guy. And that match definitely delivered in that. Of course, Foley had so many memorable moments over the next several years. Of course, Hell in a Cell, getting thrown out by The Undertaker at King of the Ring 1998. And winning the title in the early parts of 1999. One of the bigger moments, of course, that was the classic, hey, don't turn over to that, stay here on Nitro, because, Mick Foley, who used to wrestle here as Cactus Jack, he's going to win their world title. Huh, that'll put some butts in the seats. What a line. That line single-handedly, myself included, when I heard that, I didn't understand the business. I didn't understand that it was preempted. No clue. I immediately turned to Raw, like, what? How do they know? Mankind's winning the title? No way! And sure enough, that's what happened. And I think a lot of people did what I did, and as soon as that was done, turned it back to Nitro. But it was definitely a huge calculated mistake in the Monday Night War as we know it. But like I said, I love this Mankind figure. Mankind's always been a favorite. The Dude Love that's coming up, I think, is probably the best Dude Love as well. And the Cactus Jack, I know a lot of people weren't happy with that. I think they wanted the Dead or Alive poster shirt. That's what most of us remember. But the look here, I remember this from WCW. That's what I remember Cactus Jack as. So when I saw him, they show up in the WWF, I remember thinking, because I remember that side of the face, I could tell, I was like, that's Cactus Jack. Like, I knew, I was like, that's Cactus Jack. I knew who that is. Because I remember seeing him in WCW. And where I lived, and where I live now, ECW wasn't something I even knew about. So I had no idea where he went for all that time, but I remember him in early parts of WCW as Cactus Jack. And so I think it's cool we're getting that version. I think, you could have done the traditional Cactus Jack that most of us remember, but I think it's cool to get something unique and something different. So once again, I cannot recommend this 3-pack enough. I think over the holidays it was actually going for about $30. It's probably a little bit more now, maybe closer to $50. But you know what? That's a good deal for 3 amazing elites like this. This just a phenomenal figure. I love the mandible claw hand, the scarring, like the tattered shirt, the details of the mask, the details of the vest there, details of the boots. And this is all stuff that impressed me about the BCA, because I felt like they did that and they kind of went that extra mile on stuff. And even back then, I don't think I understood that totally, but it made the figure feel unique and feel different and feel fun. And like, oh man, that's awesome. I got to get that one. And that's how I feel with this one. This is a perfect representation of 1996 Mankind, and I'm super excited to have it in the collection. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully you enjoyed the figure. I definitely did. I'm glad I got it. Huge Mick Foley fan. On a personal and professional level, I've always just adored that man, so getting this figure was a no-brainer for me. But also check out some of my other unboxing videos. I've recently unboxed Count Dracula from Operation Monster Force in Fresh Monkey Fiction. That was a really fun figure. Check that one out. I've also recently unboxed Eradicator from DC Multiverse. It fell apart. I got it back together, but it did fall apart. Also, I recently unboxed Lion-O from the Super 7 Deluxe line that's available currently at Target from Thundercats. A really cool figure as well. And then, of course, who could forget Vampire Burns? It's not Halloween time, but why not unbox a Vampire Burns from the Simpsons Deluxe line from Jakks Pacific? Comes with a real coffin and an action, so check that out. Really, really fun line. Those Deluxe figures, I never saw them in stores, but I did pick that up on Amazon, and I think it's still available there if that's what you're looking for. But, man, what a fun figure. What a fun line. I love the WWE Elite line. I've got a lot of these coming up, so more WWE Elites coming up very, very soon. And, of course, make sure you follow the podcast, TB Toycast, wherever you get your podcasts. We have a show dropping every Thursday with a different main event and news and what we purchased and just, random thoughts throughout the week. But we recently have covered so many main events. I'm trying to pinpoint just one. How about Batman the Animated Series from Kenner? We covered that a long time ago. I think we've done the first 2 waves. And, man, that was just such an iconic cartoon. Such an iconic look for Batman. Getting those figures was like, whoa, these are amazing. And even to this day, I'll see them in stores sometimes at the vintage toy shops I go to. I just saw Bane the other day, and I'm like, ooh, that's awesome. I saw the Riddler, and there's a few others. And even now, McFarlane's doing the Batman the Animated Series, kind of like deluxe figures, I guess, with the Build-A-Figures and stuff. Absolutely epic. Such a cool look for Batman. And I got some of those coming up on the channel as well, because Series 3 is starting to hit at different targets, so look for that very soon. But thank you guys for checking out the TB Toycast YouTube channel. That's Mankind, and we will see you in the toy aisle.
Yeah. One more time. It ain't over till I say it's over. So lock the cage up, cause this is a takeover. The wait's over. If this the final time we meet, then you'll be on your back on my feet. Then I'll tip the cage over as a hangover. I'm super fly so I can splash off the top. And I can shut down the shop.